Hi everyone, it's Tarnished Treasures, and in today's video I'm sharing a few ways that I am organizing some of my vintage crafting, sewing, and art supplies. I've been finding a lot recently, so now it's time to make them beautiful. We've got beads, mother of pearl buttons with the iridescence, light blue glass, cranberry glass, and all the colors of the rainbow in these seed beads and sequins and rhinestones. Even color in the stamps. Faded and pastel colors are what I love. Chipping paint, not too chippy, mix of aquas and pinks. Pastel mercury glass, faded hydrangeas, and glitter. Colorful modern art. Everywhere you look is color. And when it has a personal connection, like this quilt made by my husband's family, it's even better. I do love contrast though, so I've got touches of black, metal, and marble that pop up here and there. First, I'll start with the buttons. I love to find antique and vintage mother of pearl buttons. I love the iridescence of them. And if you're not sure if something is plastic or mother of pearl, you just tap one against your tooth and it will be a sharp clicking sound. It won't be a dull thud of plastic. Recently, I've given a little attention to this area inside my cabinet where I store some of these things, and I just try to make them as beautiful as possible and combine my collections. So I've been putting the white buttons in these clear glass boxes so you can see what is inside. And I have large, I have vanity jars, powder jars. Some hold the smaller buttons and others hold the more unique ones. And one of my recent thrift finds is this heart buckle. With any collection, it's always a work in progress as you add and change things, making do with the space that you have and the shape and size of the items that you have. I am adding this new jewelry box to the collection. I think it's beautiful. I found it at the same store that I found this one at, and this one is in such nice condition. I would not have known it was old, except for the fact that it did have some shattered silk in the bottom. I'm really drawn to the mother of pearl buttons, but recently I've been drawn to larger, unique, and colorful buttons. I got the idea when I purchased some large buttons that were strung together in a circle, almost resembling a bracelet. And I loved that the buttons were grouped together in color combinations. And sometimes there was something that was a little unexpected. So here there are dark green and blue, but a nice contrast of this gold color. And so I have taken these apart and added my own from things that I've collected over the years. So here is a glass buckle that I think complements nicely with these buttons. I took this one apart and reworked it, having complementary colors of blue and orange, but then I also put in this peach color. So I have a few in the works. They are very, very simple. You just use a piece of thread and put your buttons on. I can't tuck these beautiful works of art away, so I hang them from the knobs of this cabinet that hold a lot of my art supplies. Then when I walk in, I get to see the beautiful colors against the colorful knobs, and I didn't have to put an extra nail or hook in the wall. Recently, I shared how I stored my lace in department store boxes, and I cut up a pizza box to wrap some of the longer pieces of lace, and it was wonderful because it gave me a reason to use some of my vintage pins. And this didn't take very long, but the more I thought about it, I thought, what could I do that would make this even more beautiful and use something that I collect? And I thought about vintage letters and envelopes. Took me a second to unwrap the lace, and what I'm working on is cutting the original pizza box cardboard, and I actually just pulled out my shears. I think that you could decoupage some of the letters on top of this stiff board, and then if you used pinking shears or scallop shears, that would be beautiful. For this one though, it's pretty much the size of the envelope, so I'm just going to add this inside the envelope. It'll just give the envelope a little bit more support when I'm wrapping things around it. And this is from 1936, Hollywood, California. So I love the romance and the story of everything. So I'm putting the stiff board in there. I think that I would like to have the pin seen, because this is all about things that I collect, making things beautiful, organizing. So this comes around on the top, and I'll just pin through the lace. And now I have a very beautiful way. I'm using some of my collections, a little bit of the colorful stamp, and the handwriting shows through. These are the pieces that I've already wrapped, so when I find time, I will try and switch them over, and then I can add my completed piece. Vintage baskets are a beautiful way to store things in your art room. I found this at my church rummage sale, and I immediately knew I was going to put ribbons and trims in it. But you can see that some of the packaging doesn't even fit in the basket. And as you use up your ribbon, sometimes there's more cardboard left than actual ribbon. And I'm sure we've all picked up that grab bag full of cut ribbons. The only problem is they're knotted, they're tangled, they're wrinkled, and you can't see what you have. I look for larger spools when I'm out thrifting. Even if the thread is pretty much gone or dirty or a color I don't want to use, I can still use the wood spool. So here you see that I have wrapped some thicker ribbon, and it fits perfectly on the larger spools. For some, I just leave the string on. Once the ribbon's used up, I'll still have the string, and for others, if it was dirty, I did remove it. I'm going to be using some small spools to put thinner and shorter lengths of ribbon, and I have a collection of beautiful glass corsage pins and stick pins that will look really nice to secure these ribbons. They'll take up less space in the basket, and I'll be able to see what I have better. If you want to, you could use a piece of tape to adhere the end of the ribbon. That can help you wrap faster, but it's not necessary. And I do like to do this neatly. The whole point of organizing your supplies like this is to enjoy them even when you're not using them. And if I see them wrapped nicely, they are a thing of beauty and art, and later I can use it to create more art. But while it's not in use, I want it to look nice, and it didn't take me very long to neatly wrap this. I've selected a beautiful glass head corsage pin. I came across an estate sale lot on eBay a few years ago of vintage sewing notions. I really got lucky. Now, you might not want a long pin sticking out like that if you are going to put these in a basket and be rooting around in there. So probably not the smartest choice, but if this was going to sit out on display, I'd be fine with that. I will be putting this in the basket, so I'm going to switch out the pin to a shorter pin. And then if there's any strings that need to be trimmed, I will do that. Only takes a second. Now we're ready to add that to our basket. I hope you picked up a few simple and quick ideas on how to organize and make your supplies beautiful. Join me in another video where I share how to tackle this. So if you haven't subscribed, you might consider doing so you don't miss that. I'll see everyone later. Bye.